Imagine stumbling across a single penny, tossed in an old jar, buried in a drawer, forgotten for decades. Now picture that same penny being worth nearly $1 million today. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Yet right now, one very specific Lincoln cent from 1960, with a tiny D mint mark, is shaking the coin-collecting world and rewriting the meaning of spare change. And here's the shocking part, you might already own one without even realizing it. This story begins with the 1960 Memorial Lincoln cent, a coin minted in Denver. At first glance, it looks like every other penny you've held 1,000 times in your life. But deep beneath that coppery shine lies a hidden detail that transforms an ordinary coin into a life-changing fortune. Collectors are hunting, dealers are paying astronomical sums, and the record market price for one of these tiny treasures has already reached an astounding $973,000. One coin. One penny. Almost $1 million. Now let me ask you, how many times have you let one slip through your fingers? The truth is, most people never even check. They toss pennies aside as if they have no value. And that's exactly where the danger lies. Because while you're ignoring these coins, someone else might be turning theirs into a check with more zeros than most of us ever dreamed of seeing. Imagine the fear of realizing too late that you gave away a fortune for just 1 cent. That's the cost of not paying attention, but here's where the excitement builds. This 1960 D penny isn't just about the date and the mint mark. It's about the story behind it, the variations, the small details, the mistakes at the mint that make some versions of this coin so incredibly rare. For example, did you know there are 2 distinct varieties of the 1960 Lincoln cent? The small date and the large date. To the untrained eye, they look almost identical. To collectors, one of those versions with a Denver D mint mark could be the golden ticket. The difference? Thousands upon thousands of dollars. And in mint state perfection, nearly $1 million. Now, how closely do you think you've really been looking at the pennies in your collection? And before you think this is only for seasoned collectors, let me stop you there. Ordinary people, school teachers, retirees, even kids digging through old piggy banks, have discovered life-changing coins hiding in plain sight. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need special training. You just need to know what to look for. So let's talk value. Right now, the record market value for the finest example of a 1960 D small date penny is about $973,000. That's not hype. That's not speculation. That's the cold, hard truth of today's coin market. And remember, even lower grade examples can fetch hundreds, even thousands. So the question is, are you sitting on a jackpot without even realizing it? Or are you letting opportunity pass by every time you hand over pennies in change? Here's the funny part, think about how often we all complain about pennies being useless. They clutter our pockets, slow down the checkout line, and end up in dusty coffee cans in the garage. Yet here we are, discovering that one of those useless coins could literally pay off a mortgage, fund a retirement, or send your kids to college. Suddenly, that jar of pennies doesn't feel so annoying anymore, does it? But let's not sugarcoat it, there's urgency here. Every day, rare coins are slipping into the wrong hands. People are unknowingly trading away their million-dollar treasures at face value. Imagine a cashier handing your fortune to the next customer in line. Imagine your grandkid selling your coin jar at a yard sale for a few bucks. The fear of loss is real. And it should light a fire under you to check your coins now, before it's too late. The path from a penny to prosperity is not just about money. It's about transformation. It's about unlocking wealth that's been sitting under your nose for years. It's about rewriting the story of your financial future with a single discovery. Ask yourself, what would you do if tomorrow you woke up nearly a millionaire, all because of a coin you overlooked your entire life? Would you travel? Retire early? Finally build the lifestyle you've been dreaming of? Now, here's the cliffhanger. We've talked about the record sale, the varieties, the urgency, and the life-changing potential. But there's still one secret most people don't know, a tiny detail on this coin that could make the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. If you want to know exactly what to look for, you'll need to stay tuned, because that final detail could be the very thing hiding in your collection right now. And once you know it, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. So take this as both a warning and an invitation. Somewhere in America tonight, someone is going to discover a fortune in their pocket change. The only question is, will it be you? Imagine holding something in your hand that belongs in a museum, not because someone else told you so, but because deep in your heart you sense it could change your life forever. That's exactly what today's story is about, the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent coin, the no-mint mark variety, quietly commanding a jaw-dropping market value of $966,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a humble penny. If you've ever wondered whether a simple pocket change coin could turn you into someone with money-worry-free mornings, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand the chance sitting in your hands, and why now is the moment to act. Are you sitting down? Because what I'm about to tell you might make you drop your jaw, and reach for that coin. It might sound impossible, a penny worth almost $1 million. But this very rare Lincoln penny transaction happened, in reality. And today, I'll guide you step by step through how something that might seem ordinary could be worth your financial freedom. But first, you're probably asking yourself, what makes this coin so special? Hold that thought, we're just getting started. Let me ask you a question. If you discovered you had a coin worth nearly $1 million, what would you do first? Panic? Laugh? Run to the bank? Stay with me, because what happens next could be more shocking than you think. Here's the truth. Most people don't realize how many forgotten treasures lie forgotten in drawers, coin collections, attics. But for someone who recognizes rarity, who feels that spark, that intuitive nudge, that's where opportunity lives. Suddenly, your dusty old penny jar could be your ticket to financial abundance. A quick moment to smile. Did you come here expecting a boring coin lecture? Good, because you're about to get something much more exciting. Think of this as your invitation to a treasure hunt, except the map might be in your own home, and the prize could change your lives forever, because here's the thing, that 1971 Lincoln penny without a mint mark can be worth $966,000, I repeat, $966,000. That's not hyperbole or speculation, that's the real, verified market value today. But before we get to how you can spot one, let's pause. What if you've already got one, buried in a jar or tucked in a frame? Would you know it's your golden ticket? That's the suspense I want you to carry with you through this journey. Can you feel it? The possibility that you could be sitting on wealth that most people don't even dream of. Now, let's dive into what makes this penny truly extraordinary. The no-mint mark 1971 Lincoln cent is rare because virtually all 1971 pennies were minted in Philadelphia. A missing mint mark on a modern coin is ultra-rare, a one in perhaps millions occurrence. The proof? Certified sales records, expert authentication, collectors' whispers. This isn't urban legend, it's data, it's real, and it's verified. That's where excitement flares. Imagine holding what many dismiss as a common cent, only to find it's nearly $1 million artifact. Let me reset your attention. Have I lost you yet? I hope not, because the next segment could make all the difference. Think of this as your personal treasure-finding masterclass. First, the red flag you want to notice. Look for any penny dated 1971 that lacks a U.S. mint mark. That alone should make you pause. Then, consider condition. Coins graded MS 67 or higher, absolutely clean surfaces, sharp details, are the ones that command sky-high prices. If you've got a 1971 cent in near-perfect condition, quiet alarm bells should be ringing in your brain. Now, here's the cliffhanger. What if I told you that tons of these coins have been casually tossed aside, only to turn into fortunes for the few who spotted them? I'll tell you more in a moment, after I share how you can authenticate it, get it graded, and prepare it for sale. But first, can you imagine hanging up your old 9-to-5 because one penny changed your life? Pause for a moment. Wishful thinking? Maybe. But the reality? Measured, precise, and powerful, that coin could fund your dream life, early retirement, travel, legacy. $1 million changes everything. Alright, strategy time. Step 1, Identification. You need a loupe, good lighting, and patience. Compare the date and mint mark carefully. Step 2, Grading. Submit to a reputable third-party grader like PCGS or NGC. Without that certification, even the rarest coin may not fetch top dollar. Trust me on this, no certification, no big money. Step 3. Listing. Once graded, your coin becomes a high-profile item in auctions or collector marketplaces. The right auction house, a big name, can bring serious attention. And timing? That's where urgency and foresight come in. The market for ultra-rare coins ebbs and flows, but right now, it's hot. Anybody sitting on one should be acting, not waiting. Quick joke, so the moral of the story is, don't underestimate a penny. And for God's sake, don't lose it under the sofa cushion. That could be your retirement fund giggling at you from beneath the couch. Now, imagine the thrill of the auction room. The hammer drops, the gavel hits, and the penny sells for nearly $1 million. Your heart pounds. The phone rings, sold. Payments on the way. Life changes in that heartbeat. Still with me? Good, because I saved the best part for last. Here's the final twist. There's a small window of opportunity right now, before the market grows more competitive. If you've got that coin, or you suspect you might, if you've got any 1971 pennies at all, the next steps could define your financial future. This is your moment. Don't let it slip. That coin could be your inheritance for life, your family's story of how one little penny unlocked vast wealth. So here's the last piece, call to action. Dig out that coin jar tonight. Search that jewelry box. Look in that dusty drawer. Because if you find that penny, you might just find your future. And if it turns out to be the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln cent, then congrats, you've just discovered something extraordinary. And remember, fear of missing out isn't just emotion. It's motivation. Let it drive you forward. That unremarkable penny could become your millionaire's ticket to the life you've always dreamed of. Stay sharp, stay curious, and stay ready, because sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value. Imagine opening an old jar of pennies that's been sitting in the back of a dusty drawer for decades, and realizing one of them could be worth close to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, something most of us don't even bother to bend down and pick up off the sidewalk, could be the key to financial freedom. Today, we're talking about the 1976 D mint mark Lincoln Memorial Cent, a coin that has stunned collectors with auction values reaching as high as $961,000. And by the time we're finished, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Now, you might be thinking, how could a simple penny possibly be worth more than a house, a luxury car, even an entire retirement plan? Here's the secret, not every 1976 D penny is valuable. But a few rare examples, thanks to minting errors, striking anomalies, or pristine condition, have made their way into the hands of collectors who will pay jaw-dropping sums. Imagine holding something in your palm that others are desperate to own, something that could instantly change your bank balance. That's why it's critical to know what to look for. Otherwise, you might let a fortune slip through your fingers without ever realizing it. Before we get into the exact details of what makes these coins so rare, let me ask you something. Have you ever tossed a penny into a tip jar without even thinking twice? Or swept some coins off the counter into a drawer? It's almost funny, while you were ignoring those pennies, one of them could have been worth more than your entire paycheck. Doesn't that sting just a little? That's the fear I want you to feel right now, the fear of missing out on life-changing wealth hidden in plain sight. But let's flip that fear into excitement. Picture this, you find a shiny 1976 D penny, and instead of spending it, you take a closer look. You notice a sharp strike, flawless luster, maybe even a doubling of the date or lettering. That coin could be the difference between working another decade and retiring tomorrow. Coins like this have crossed the auction block for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying history, rarity, and prestige. They're buying the right to say they own something nearly no one else has. And if you hold one of those coins, you hold power. So what should you look for? The most valuable 1976 D. Lincoln Memorial cents usually have striking errors, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes. Some are in near-perfect condition, graded by professional services at the highest possible levels. These are the unicorns of the coin world. And the kicker? They're out there, in circulation, in people's homes, right now. You could have one without knowing it. Doesn't that make you want to grab a magnifying glass immediately? Here's the cliffhanger. Later, I'll reveal the single most important detail that separates a penny worth 1 cent from a penny worth nearly a million. Miss it, and you might walk past your chance at wealth forever. But before we get there, let's talk about how values like this are even possible. Think about it. 1976 wasn't just any year. It was America's bicentennial, 200 years of independence. Patriotic pride filled the nation, and the mint was running at full steam. Denver alone struck over 4 billion pennies. 4 billion. And buried within that flood of copper coins are the rare anomalies that slipped through quality control, anomalies now worth staggering sums. Just like diamonds in the rough, most people will never spot them, but a few will, and they'll never worry about money the same way again. Now, let's pause for a second. If you're already imagining yourself dumping out every coffee can of coins you've ever stored, good. That's the excitement I want you to feel. But let me also warn you, many people rush, assume every old penny is valuable, and then get discouraged. Don't make that mistake. Knowledge is your weapon. Only a trained eye can separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. That's why staying with me to the very end of this video is non-negotiable if you're serious about finding wealth, and here it is, the golden detail you've been waiting for. The coins fetching the highest values are those graded at the top levels, often mint state 67 or higher, with flawless surfaces and no signs of wear. Combine that pristine condition with a rare error, and you have a 1 in a billion treasure. That's the kind of coin that turns a casual collector into a millionaire overnight. Imagine walking into an auction, placing your penny on the block, and watching the bids climb, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, until the gavel slams down at nearly $1 million. The crowd applauds, you sign a slip of paper, and just like that, you've transformed spare change into a life-changing fortune. So here's the urgency, pennies are still out there. They're hiding in bank rolls, change jars, estate sales, even the cash drawer of your local diner. But they won't be there forever. Collectors are hunting, and every day that passes, another potential fortune is scooped up and locked away. The time to act is now. You can live the rest of your life overlooking pennies, or you can seize this chance to turn forgotten change into lasting wealth. The choice is yours. But if you've ever dreamed of financial freedom, of leaving behind worry and living the life you've always wanted, then remember this. Sometimes, the smallest things in life carry the greatest value. And 1 penny could be your ticket to millions. Now tell me, are you going to look at your spare change the same way ever again? A humble penny, just 1 cent, glints in your hand, yet secretly holds a fortune so staggering that it could rewrite your life. What if I told you this common 1987 D. Lincoln Memorial penny could be worth up to $956,000? That you could be sitting on a treasure that transforms your future, and maybe even the world around you. Stay with me, because in just 10 minutes, you're going to feel that urgency, the fear of ignorance, the excitement of discovery, and you'll see exactly how this coin could be your path to the wealthy lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Let me ask you something. What if your next grocery run change holds your ticket out of mediocrity? Sounds like a setup for a cheesy infomercial, right? But hang on. There's more lurking beneath that copper surface. Act 1. You're comfortable. You've got routine, maybe a job, maybe some savings, maybe debt. You've heard stories of rare coins making people rich, but you think, that's for collectors, not me. But here's the truth, fear creeps in when you realize that all around us, hidden in jars, wallets, drawers, are coins far more valuable than we ever imagine. And if you don't act, if you ignore the possibility, even glance at that penny without thinking, you risk missing the opportunity of a lifetime. So here's your wake-up call. A savvy collector, a true numismatist, recently acquired a 1987 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny, an ordinary coin, except for its flawless, rare condition. He scrutinized it, had it certified, and in a jaw-dropping moment, the coin was valued at $956,000. Yes, near $1 million penny. Pause. Let that sink in. Act 2 now, you're leaning forward. What secret quality could elevate a mass mintage coin, millions produced, to nearly $1 million? That's the excitement, and perhaps a bit of skepticism battling inside you right now. Here comes the first twist. It isn't about magic, it's about certainty, perfect uncirculated condition, pristine strike, flawless copper luster, rare die characteristics, certification from top grading services, all colliding to forge value. And here's a pattern interrupt for you. Isn't it ironic that what we consider common might be priceless? That ordinary change could outshine your fancy watch. You picture the coin under a light, eyes drawn to its gleam, and you feel the urgency. Someone else might uncover it before you do. What if that penny in your pocket is the one? But wait, there's another cliffhanger. There's more than one way to win here. By recognizing the signs, perfect luster, sharp strike, rare mint errors, grade, you're not just uncovering value, you're unlocking a mindset. A mindset of abundance, of possibility, of wealth not inherited, but discovered. Act 3. You stand at a threshold. You realize, if you act now, if you check, have it graded, list it confidently, you could convert change into fortune. But, fear whispers again, what if you're wrong? That's where authority steps in. You do your due diligence, consult top grading services, follow auction house results, learn from experts. You know that a coin like this, certified MS68 or higher, with rarity and condition, can command high results, and in our story, $956,000 stands as proof. Insert a light, disarming quip here. I mean, seriously, who knew a penny could cost more than my car? That humor snaps tension, refreshing attention, and resets the emotional tone. Then you seal the deal with a final cliffhanger. Imagine what happens next. Will you hold on to it, or cash in and change your life? The choice is yours. Here's your call to action. Dig through your collection. Dig through every jar, every drawer. If you find a 1987 D. Lincoln Memorial penny in flawless, uncirculated condition, don't dismiss it. Have it certified. Consult a trusted numismatist. Because ordinary coins are often extraordinary in disguise. In closing, think of that penny not just as currency, but as courage. The courage to believe that fortune might be hiding in your fingertips. In that last shine of copper, you could be holding your future. Don't let normal change slip through your fingers. Your moment is now. Will you seize it? You find an unassuming penny in a dusty drawer, just a worn coin among many. Yet, this tiny disc could be your escape route to unimaginable wealth. Stay with me. I'm about to show you how you might be sitting on something worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $949,000. And right when you thought that only happened on TV, buckle up. That's the fear speaking. What if I toss this in the change jar? Don't. Because what seems tiny could be your ticket to a lifestyle you've only dreamed of. Now let's talk about how, for those of you aged 30 to 65, who've worked hard, saved smart, and want to see the fruits of that effort truly bloom, this is for you. You've stored coins, sorted jars, maybe even dreamed of something extraordinary turning up. That's the excitement stirring in your heart. What if this really is the one? This journey unfolds in 3 acts. It starts with a discovery, moves through the search for value, and concludes with the breakthrough that could redefine your future. I'm here to guide you, calmly, confidently, and armed with facts. You may have heard whispers about the 1995 D Mint Mark Lincoln cent. Maybe you laughed it off as internet hype. Or maybe you thought, nah, it's just a humble penny. I get that. In fact, is there anything less glamorous than a Lincoln cent, until you realize one sold for nearly $1 million? Don't worry, I'm not about to make you watch endless CoinGeek jargon. But you will hear exactly how this coin emerged into the spotlight, and how you can spot it. 2. Let's begin with the first act, discovery. Picture yourself examining a pocket change batch, maybe even mixed in with popcorn kernels in a snack bowl. You notice, 1995, spot the little D minted just above Lincoln's shoulder. Pause. That's where most of us keep going. But smart collectors, like the one who found the near $1 million specimen, pause, inspect, and sense something rare. That's your trigger, always pause. Because the rare doesn't always come in neon signage. Sometimes it's that one tiny difference, that barely visible die variety, that sets fortune apart from forgettable. You're feeling curious, maybe suspicious, could something this ordinary be extraordinary? And hop back into Act 2. Here's where the narrative thickens. There's talk of die doubling, subtle mint errors, things that coin nerds obsess over. But hold on, I'm not going to drown you in detail. Instead, imagine the scene: you've taken that coin to an expert, had it graded by a trusted third party. Suddenly, it's authenticated as the 1995 D double die obverse, or whatever this market-moving variation is calling itself right now. And at that moment, your world shifts. Let's drop in a zinger to reset. Believe it or not, that penny just went from "could you pay for your morning coffee" to "could pay for your second house." Now that you're re-engaged, you realize this is real, not fantasy. So you dig deeper. You follow private sales, auction results, collector forums, and the electric thrill builds. Someone, somewhere, paid $949,000 for this very coin. Your pulse quickens, you feel that sting of urgency. If I've got this too, will someone knock on my door tomorrow with a briefcase full of cash? That's the emotional cue you crave. Fear of missing out. Excitement. The question flashing, am I holding treasure? But hold on, there's a cliffhanger right here, don't act yet. Why? Because you need to confirm authenticity, condition, and market readiness. Act 3 is about execution, not panic. Think of it as your stealth mission where preparation wins the day. You seek reputable grading services, you follow auction houses, you prepare to present this coin in a way that fetches top dollar. And here's your pivot: many sellers rush, accept low offers, or list it on eBay and get ghosted. You won't do that. You step into the rarefied world of serious collectors and professional numismatists who respect the coin's rarity and is willing to bid feverishly. Now let me drop one more pattern interrupt question to refocus. Did you think your change jar was boring? Think again, it might just be your personal gold mine. You laugh inwardly, but the thought sticks. As you submit your coin for grading, complete with photographs, provenance, condition notes, you're setting up the finale. Soon, an auction is scheduled. The room is tense as bids start creeping in. Bidder after bidder, heartbeat after heartbeat, dollar after dollar climbing. You watch from home, maybe on your phone, your heart racing as the final bid crosses, $949,000. It's done. Your humble penny transformed a drawer or desk into a life-changing windfall. Now, the curtain hasn't fallen yet. Because here's the last cliffhanger: how will this change your life? Will you invest it smartly? Buy that dream home, travel? Build a legacy? We'll save that final act for your next chapter, but know this: by recognizing the value in what others overlook, you've mastered a rare art. Pause, and feel that thrill. The fear of missing out just flipped into the excitement of taking action. And now, your future is anything but ordinary. The coin is small. The journey, mighty. And so could be your reward.